Peace and blessings, everybody. Good morning and happy Monday. I am Asia Nasir, founder and nonprofit strategist of my consulting firm, Utopian Enterprise Business Solution, and author of my second release book, Nonprofit Doesn't Mean No Profit, where you can actually find on Amazon. What I do is I work with existing founders as well as aspiring founders of nonprofit organizations to help them, truly fulfill their mission in real time. And so I want to get right into today's, video, and that's talking about a topic that a lot of, founders, whether existing or just aspiring, find that it's a very difficult fine line to tread, and sometimes there are bumps in the road, and it can either make or break your nonprofit from being able to move forward. And one of those things is feeling like you're a one woman or one man show, feeling like you're doing all of the work by yourself, feeling like you don't have the support that you need in moving, this mission the way you want it, and driving, your cause in the way that you're wanting to do, because you don't feel like you have the support. So you feel like you're just this one woman, one man show, doing this whole thing. And that is because there's a lack of leadership development and building your internal infrastructure. And I know that might ruffle a little feathers with some that might be listening, like, hey, I develop my team. I tell them what I expect from them. I put them on my board, or I put them in positions, within the organization for them to be, because I felt like they could do it. They have the skill sets to do it. And the list goes on and on, right? But if we're not intentional about building leaders and letting them know that that is what you're doing, in this process of, all the training and all of the different things that we're going to talk about today, there's a gap there, because there's not an understanding of, now that we're pouring into you and we're developing you into this leader within the organization, what do you do with it, right? And how do we go about supporting, what it is that we're pouring into? So I just want to get into today in really talking about leadership development and building your internal infrastructure, so that way your nonprofit can really move in the way that you want it to move and make the impact that you really want to make within your community. So I wanted to share 5 things, and I actually have a bonus tip that I want to give to those that are listening, those that are viewing right now, to be able to, really drive home how to develop your team, so that way you're not, you can walk away from this video feeling like, okay, there's some hope here. I'm not going to be running this ship by myself, right? Or even contemplating not running it at all, because you're feeling overwhelmed at this point. So the first tip that I want to give to you in leadership development and building your internal infrastructure is, you have to make sure that your team is very clear about your mission. You will be amazed at, well, I will challenge you, actually. I will actually challenge you to ask your team, those that you have in leadership positions, whether they're on the board or whether they are, employees of your nonprofit, ask them, what is our mission? What is the vision of our nonprofit? What is the mission of our nonprofit? I'm going to challenge you to do that, because we often think, because they are serving in some capacity on our within the organization, that they know what the mission is, that they're clear about what our vision is, what it is that we're looking to do, where are we trying to go, what is the mission, what is it that we're trying to decrease, eradicate, create. What is it that we're doing? You're going to be amazed at how many people within your infrastructure actually don't know what that is. They have a gist. Well, we work with youth, or we work to help people in domestic violence, so they know they know the cause, right? But they don't know your mission. They don't know in what way you are bringing, making a dent in your community, or how you are going to eradicate or change that. They really don't know. So what I would suggest is, first and foremost, is challenging, seeing for yourself, test your theory. Like, does my infrastructure know what our mission is? If I were to ask them, what is our mission? Would they be able to tell people what our mission is? Would they be able to articulate it? So challenge them first. And then moving forward, if it's not what it is that you think it is, if their answer is I'm really not sure, then what you want to do is at every meeting, every interaction, every internal discussion that you're going to have, try starting your meetings, try starting your Zooms, whatever it is, whether it's virtual or face to face, start it with someone reading the mission of the organization. Have them, read it, and then maybe share what does that mean to them. What does that mean to them and how they want to contribute to furthering that mission and fulfilling that mission? Because that is what's going to bring about action. That is what's going to bring about, someone saying to themselves, what am I going to do? And taking that step, which is leadership, in action, proactive, and not having to be told what to do. Why? Because I understand and I align with the mission and the vision, and I want to be a part of contributing to fulfilling that mission and that vision. So that's tip number one, making sure that everyone that's servicing on your team that you have in leadership positions in one way or another, whether they're chairing a committee, sitting on your board, or in a position, a staff in leadership, ask them if they know and try those different things. Tip number two is fostering a culture that supports collaboration. Fostering a culture that supports collaboration. And I specifically said not, different words, or you said fostering a corporate culture, right? No, I'm talking about fostering a culture that supports collaboration. And what I mean by that is when you invite people to be leaders, as they say, when the when the student appears, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear, right? Make that a situation for your team where they are ready, and then you will appear with whatever you're going to provide for your team. So what I mean by that exactly is, so fostering a culture of collaboration is when you are at these meetings, or when you're at discussions, or when you just might be going to talk to a staff member or a team member just one-on-one, foster an environment of open communication. This is where we're struggling at, being transparent with your team. This is where we're struggling at. What do you think? What would you do in this situation? How do you think? What suggestions do you have? Have you encountered this before? And if so, how did you handle it, right? Open communication, and then actively listen. Actively listen, so that way they feel like you care about what they have to say. So if that's taking notes, if that's just being quiet and really listening to what they have to say, inquiring and probing more questions, so that way you can draw more out of them, asking open-ended questions, so it gives them an opportunity to really express and share, different perspectives, different skill sets, and you'll see you're actually going to bring out more from your team. You're going to see that they're going to have diverse skill sets that you didn't even know about, that now you can put them in a position that they can contribute because it was their suggestion, and that's their baby now, right? So then you give them an opportunity to then show and prove, and give them the opportunity to help you within your organization to change the trajectory or pivot something that's not working. Right? So that way your organization can stay sustainable and be able to move and evolve and really, again, fulfill the mission in real time. So that's tip number two. Tip number three, and this is my favorite. This is my absolute favorite, because you can't lose. And that's investing in your team, and those that are that you want in leadership position or already in leadership, investing in their professional development within your organization, investing in their professional development. So how do you do that? You have scheduled, intentional, purposeful meetings that will support their leadership development. So that's what we're talking about here, right? Is developing their leadership skills. So give them that, provide that to them. Have, whether that's quarterly meetings, whether that's every other month, you're having a meeting, and then have it on different topics that support leadership. So that's leadership class, like have a speaker have someone come in and do a presentation on being a leader within a nonprofit organization. How do you lead? How do you lead to gain the best results, right? Or you can have on problem solving. That's what a leader does. A leader is someone who problem solves. You come in and you think on your feet and you think of best results, not what's going to make you popular, but what's best results, what is going to fulfill the mission, what is going to get the mission, moving in the direction that you want it to go, making those quick decisions, making those problem solving decisions, that way people within the infrastructure, within your organization as volunteers, may be looking at that leader and say, this is a leader that can handle stuff. This is somebody that knows what they're doing. This is a go-to person, a leader, right? And then you serve them by being able to problem solve and help them to be able to, rectify an issue. Or conflict resolution. If there's conflict, have workshops on conflict resolution, team building, all the things that would support grooming, right? And molding a successful leader. And tip number 4 is, now that you've invested in your team, right? Now that you've put in, training, you've put in, open communication and asking their perspectives, putting them in a situation where now they're taking the lead in something because it was their suggestion, and you're like, that's actually a great idea. I think we want to do that. And you put them in that leadership position to do something. Now what you want to do is you want to have performance evaluations. Have performance evaluations. Again, I wrote this in my book. It's in the very first chapter. It's having the right mindset when running a nonprofit. A lot of nonprofits don't run their organization as a business. If you go to any for-profit corporation, because you're running a corporation, it's just a nonprofit corporation. If you go to any corporation like Walmart, Target, banks, things like that, what are they doing? They're having their employees, especially those in leadership position, they are giving them performance evaluations. How are you doing? These are expectations of you. This is where we want you to move. You're here. We want you to move here. We're giving you different assignments for you to be able to do that. And then what you do is you give them performance evaluations. How are you progressing? Are you getting better at this? Have those training sessions helped you to be able, do we see you implementing those things? And how has that, affected not only your work performance, but those around you, right? As a leader, you are to inspire and motivate. So is that happening with the trainings that we're giving you? Are you motivating other team members to be better as well? So having those performance evaluations, and then giving tips and coaching and mentoring to help them in areas of improvement. So, and recognizing them in areas that they have done very well in or have improved in, right? So that's tip number 4. And then tip number 5 is creating a work-life balance. I wouldn't say creating a work-life balance, but supporting it, I would say, is supporting a work-life balance for those within your team. You can't be a good leader if you are constantly feeling overwhelmed. Like what we were talking about on the onset of this video, which is feeling like you're a one-woman, one-man show. What that breeds is burnout. Plain and simple. It breeds burnout. And I talk about that in the last chapter of my book as well, which is the signs of burnout. And the signs of burnout is it's not gonna be conducive to your nonprofit moving to the next level and you're gonna make an impact. It's just whether it's gonna be a positive impact or a negative impact. And when a person has burnout, there's irritability, there's non-productivity, there's just a lot of negatives that come with that. We can go on and on about the signs, and I talk about the signs of that so you can see it within yourself. But as a leader, be supportive of that. Make sure that you're asking them, hey, have you taken a day off? Nope, I don't want you to do work today. I want you to take the day off, enjoy that. We'll ask so-and-so why, because you are developing other leaders, not just that person, but you're developing other leaders within your organization. So the sign of you developing leaders within your organization is that a person can leave and the show just keeps on going. It doesn't stop because one person is not there anymore. It doesn't stop because you're not there anymore. you are developing leaders within your organization that they can be proactive, problem solve, do all of the things that a leader is required to do, and the ship just keeps on floating. The ship just keeps on moving because you have developed, you've poured into them, and now it's time for them to show and prove. So when one person leaves where you feel like, you know what, you need a day off, enjoy that time with your family. You want that day off? Sure. We can sit up here and we can make that happen for you and support that. Maybe even have, health and wellness days, and having someone come in and speak to your team about work-life balance and what they need to do, and then make some changes within your organization to support that. So that way your organization is moving in a direction that you want it to go, and that the people on the inside and within internally are in a good space, because people can tell. People can tell in their interaction when people are burnt out. We've gone to places of businesses where you can see the employees, they don't look happy. They look drained. They look tired. And when you interact with them, they'll tell you, I'm just so tired. So, you don't want people to feel like that. People are coming to your nonprofit as a safe haven, as the solution, as the go-to place to relieve them of whatever stresses and ills that are happening within their life. So you want your people to be in a position where they can be that beacon for those that are coming, to you for your services and, your programs or whatever it is that you're offering to the community. So creating that environment for your team is so important, because it's like, what do they say? It's like that saying, happy wife, happy life, right? Well, you can have that same thing for your nonprofit organization. Happy board, happy org, right? You want the people in your leadership team to be able to be well balanced, even keel, where they can sit up here and they can move in a way that's going to be productive, right? So those were the 5 tips that I wanted to share. But as I mentioned on the onset of this video, there is a bonus suggestion that I want to give to you today. And that is, and I don't know if you've ever heard of this before, but it's inspecting what you expect, right? When you bring on people on your team to serve in any leadership capacity, there should have been a conversation about what you expect from those that are going to be in a leadership position. You should have had that conversation. What do you expect of them? What are their responsibilities? Just like you don't want to be left feeling like you're a one-man, one-woman show. Well, it's the same thing for whoever it is that you have on your team that's in leadership. Don't make them feel like they are a one-woman, one-man show. You want to ensure that you are inspecting what you expect, not micromanage. I'm not talking about micromanaging, because micromanaging does not breed leadership. It breeds contempt is what it does. But I'm not talking about micromanaging. What I'm just spot checking. Spot checking does 2 things. It shows support, that I'm here to support you, make sure that everything is good, that I am creating an environment. I'm providing whatever it is that you need so you can perform at the best capacity that you can perform. So spot checking, making sure maybe I can assist in, or as a leader, as the founder, right? Maybe I can sit up here and provide some assistance if you're feeling stuck in an area. And not making you feel like it's a negative that you have to ask for assistance, because some people find it very difficult to ask for help because of maybe past experiences working with an employer that that kind of conversation is to them, it felt like they were not good workers, and so that's their experience with asking for help. So a lot of times they won't ask for help, and leaders oftentimes it's difficult just for them to ask for help because they feel they're the go-to person. So creating that environment that asking for help is part of leadership development. Every leader should have a coach or a mentor, someone that they can go to. You should be that mentor, or other leaders should be that mentor for that person, that's in leadership position within your organization. So spot check and ask, hey, how's that project going? That thing that we talked about that we assigned you, how's that going? You need anything? You everything going smooth? You need any help with something? Is there anything that I can do to make it easier for you, right? Asking those questions, that might open up a dialogue for that person. Again, creating, fostering an environment of, collaboration. Again, going hand in hand, that inspecting what you expect is doing that. It's fostering open dialogue where that person says, hey, you know what? Since you asked, yeah, I do. I actually need some help with this. Let me get your ideas on this. And then with that, so that's one part of inspecting what you expect. That's one benefit of that. The second benefit to that is accountability. I gave you an assignment. Make no mistake about it. I expect you to follow through on that. We are counting on you. Our recipients are counting on you. Our community is counting on you for you to follow through. Finish what you started. Make sure that this is in place, because this is going to take our organization to the next level. This is going to be able to help us help our recipients in a better way, right? This is going to help our community move in a different direction, where now your organization, again, is fulfilling its mission in real time. So it fulfills two things when you inspect what you expect. It's putting that leader in that position to say, look, I got to be accountable for what I said I was going to do, or what I'm assigned to do, what I'm expected to do. There's an accountability factor. I got to show up. I got to make sure I'm getting this done. So your spot checks does that, and it creates an environment of support. So I hope these tips this morning were beneficial to you in you being able to kind of take a look at yourself and introspection of your organization. Can I just take one thing and establish that today, which is at our next meeting, I'm going to challenge everyone to just kind of, ask, what is our mission? What is the vision of our organization? And making sure everybody on your leadership team is aware of what that is. Start asking for, their diverse perspectives and their different viewpoints and how they would, handle that, because that's going to help you as the founder, as the visionary, to be able to, move in a different direction that maybe you didn't even think of. And again, this is not about one person. This is about the fulfillment of the mission. That's the big picture. And whatever that is, whether it's coming from you or someone else, if it's going to help to move that needle, then that's what you want to do, right? So I hope that you found this beneficial on this Monday morning, that you can now take this into your organization and really help develop your leaders. If you are looking for a guest speaker and you would like to book me, Asia Nasir, to be able to come in and do those type of professional developments for your team, please feel free to reach out to me on my website at Utopian Enterprise Biz, that's biz.com, and click on contact us, and we can have a consultation and set up a date and what topics and what professional development you want to do, so we can make it happen. And again, finding this as beneficial knowledge, not like, oh, those are some good ideas and you do nothing with it. You're implementing it so that way you can see that it's making the change within your organization. So you can imagine, if your organization is running in a way that it should, and it's a well-oiled machine, then you can imagine the impact that it's going to have on the recipients and the impact that it's going to have in the mission that you are trying to champion. So I hope you found benefit. Stay tuned for next week. Next Monday, we have another content video that is coming out for you to help you in moving, your organization in the way in which you want it to go. So whatever it is that you're doing, whether you're taking the day off because it is a holiday Monday, whether you're taking the day off or whether you are going to work today, make sure that you are making an impact with all those that you come in contact with. So be intentional, be purposeful about everything that you're going to do today. So not only in your professional life, you are, fulfilling your mission, but make sure you have a personal, mission that you're looking to do. And that is making sure that people that come in contact with you leave better than how they met you.